wondered. Meeting is officially called to order. Will you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the
Let's see, I've not heard from our two absentees.
He told me the last meeting he wasn't going to be here, but
Okay.
I haven't heard from Max.
Haven't heard from Max, all right. Swearing in, Mr. Ben, come on up.
Okay. You ready for this?
Sure.
Are you sure? Sure. Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Benedict Middleton,
I, Benedict Middleton,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Kansas,
and the Constitution of the State of Kansas,
and faithfully discharge the duties of council member
and faithfully discharge the duties of council member
for the city of Iola, Kansas.
for the city of Iola, Kansas.
Do you have a pen? I didn't bring a pen up. You have to sign. Sign your life away. No, sign. You're a lefty, too. There you go.
Don't
Congratulations.
steal my Get away with my pen.
I never steal pens.
All right, review and approval of agenda. Any questions, concerns?
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second.
Motion and second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Public comments. Anybody here wish to make comments? Donna shaking her head no. Okay, moving on. Consent agenda. Council?
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Motion made and second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. New business, number 8, the truck.
I guess that's me. I don't do this very often.
That's you.
We have a little Ford Ranger pickup that we have the meter reader in. Tried to get a small truck, can't get anything. You can't even order one. So we went full size. Both Mike and Mitch have dealt with this poor little, it has something to do with because she shifts so much and steers and starts.
Breaks the
Ignition.
plunger off on the ignition and the shifter column. They say
messes.
that Ford Rangers are notorious for it, but
Ah.
that's what they tell us.
So we thought about putting her in a side-by-side, which would be great, and she would be thrilled to do it. It's just riding on the highway, and she has to read all those meters alongside the highway. And she also has to go out to Humboldt Hill, so
That's not qualified on the highway, so
I know.
Yeah.
I would rather.
that would have been nice.
It would have been nice. Nowadays, you can buy them heated and air-conditioned, and it'd be really convenient for her and a lot less physical. Not that she's not physically fit, but just the physical climbing out of a pickup. And she does walk and leave it a couple blocks away, so I know she. We had a car once, and it really took a toll on the car. She carries a lot of equipment.
Like a Jeep or something.
Oh,
The city
probably.
minivan.
The city minivan. We've used it,
Hey, Greg's been using
The
it.
minivan that,
but, yeah.
Well, knowing what vehicles cost nowadays, I think that's a pretty good deal, actually.
Cost to be split 3 ways, electric,
Yes.
gas, and water. Well, actually, we could probably split it 4 ways if we wanted to with
Yeah,
sewer,
we
so.
wanted to. Let's see, Mitch sent me. He sent this out to Twin Motors, Jay Hatfield, Shields, Lewisburg, Steve Faulkner, and Siggs. We also sent it to, so we
Also
only.
had it on the web, too.
We only sent, we only got the 2 back, so.
I'll make a motion to approve the bid from Steve Faulkner Ford for the price of $36,797 for the purchase of 1 pickup and authorize staff to execute the necessary documents.
second.
Motion made and second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, time for the budget roundtable.
As request, I made them in order of the pages.
Yeah, I appreciate that, and then I forgot the whole thing. Oh, thanks, Matt.
There you go.
That's
Other
not
than
right.
Jason,
I knew it from memory, so.
Okay. So I don't even know what page I'm on, because I have the whole budget.
we're on 3 and 4.
Hey. Let's see,
What page are you on?
3, 4, and 5. Yeah, we didn't have much increase. We are seeing postage going up again. It's really frustrating, but not much we can do about it. Of course, as the general fund, city clerk's department carries the town liability insurance as well as the property and for us in City Hall. So I do take a big chunk out of that. And that's about, just a little bit increases in what we, just buying the normal things, paper and postage and envelopes, seems like we buy that most of the
Postage, does the federal government give any deals for cities and municipalities?
We do get pre-sort prices. When we send out our utility bills, we get cheaper rates because we pre-sort and we certify all of our addresses. Tyler, our software, does certify it for us. So we do get a cheaper rate on those. But, yeah, they don't give us much of a break. But, yeah, we do get a little bit of, a few cents an envelope. So, any questions or comments? I know Corey always comments about my equipment repair programming. It's just expensive to own software.
Just paying
Paying,
that company. It's no different than any other one.
no, but it's worth it. So, no questions?
I get my budget to him.
Oh, yeah, I can do it. Chief went home sick today, so I'll run over his real quick, and if you guys have questions, certainly ask him, and if I don't know the answer, I'll have Chief get back with you via email. Chief's budget for the police department, he upped his training a couple $1,000, basically just so he could have $1,000 for their 40 hours a year for their annual training they've got to have. The vehicle maintenance, mostly the increase is just because of fuel cost, and they're always on the road. His capital outlay, he's basically at the end of a 10-year cycle on his copy machine, going to have to replace it, can't get parts for it anymore. One of those deals. Then bulletproof vest, and he's budgeting for the replacement of a police car, a full replacement, and then half of one to put back, as well as the equipment there. Actually, I think he's doing pretty good on vehicles right now. Then he's going to do some upgrades to the doors. The guys have proxy cards. We just got them for the back door City Hall, and they also have them for the entry of the PD and the squad room. So rather than the guys have 2 or 3, and they also have them for all the schools. So he's going to try and incorporate getting a new proxy card or a system that will work with the back door on those other 4 locks in City Hall that the PD got. Trying to eliminate some of that, and honestly, it's a pretty inexpensive project.
Said they were going to not do cars anymore.
I don't think he'll totally get away from the patrol cars, mainly because of transporting prisoners at times. The cars work better, I believe. But the trucks, I know the guys like that truck just from visiting with them, and I do think he'll start mixing the fleet a little bit with those trucks versus cars. So that's his budget in a nutshell. There's really nothing else that, with all the budgets, basically it's insurance increase and salaries, so.
Corey, I guess this is a question for the overall city, but because it was talked about in his budget, it pops up in my mind. just from the recent work at the college, with replacing the copier, it's one that we don't lease. Or do we lease it?
No, they're just service agreements
Okay.
on them. We pay them so much a year.
Copy.
Yeah, so much a copy, and then they supply the toner and stuff.
When we trade out, what happens to the memories that are on those? Do you know?
Memories?
Yeah. So this is something because of the safety and security at work. We found out that,
It stores that stuff in there?
yes, it does.
Hey,
And the top 3 buyers are for used printers, copiers, are all international. And so it's important to make sure that those get wiped.
I don't know that they don't give us any trade-in to speak of on them. Usually they haul, Modern Copy, at least when we've used them in the past, they haul them off for us, but, because there's not much,
Homeland Security brought up with us.
well, I'll visit with Jared about that, because
Okay.
even with our copiers, as much stuff as we run across them, yeah, we need to dismantle it somehow.
It's actually how the U.S. spied on the Russian embassy in the 70s through Xerox and their old copy machines.
That's right.
And I know that the college has a bunch of important information with student information and employee information, so just think the same thing with the city.
Thank you. Street and alley. Jason?
Jason, I have 2 of them. First one is on 10 through 13, and then we'll jump to sanitation after that. Be on 59 through 61.
We didn't change much or hardly anything. Like our equipment reserve, I held back tractor 1 more year so I can get a bigger one next year, hopefully with cab. So I budgeted another $5,000 for it. Other than that, on some of like equipment repairs, we upped the cost on a little bit because all the repairs we're doing on these newer trucks these days. So, and that was only like, what, $2,000, I think it was. $1,000 on one of them. But chip seal line item, I upped it up, so hopefully I can buy some raw rock next year. So, and hopefully in another year or 2 we can start reclaiming it again. So, any questions on that?
Nope.
59. And sanitation, there ain't much difference on that either. Still putting back money for a new truck replacement. I'm going to try to, I talked to Corey and Matt and Roxanne about this, maybe putting another year back on a truck, so maybe get like 6 years out of truck now, but we'll see how it goes on replacement. We'll still take that money and put it back in a line item, in this case, other things come up, so. Other than that, that's pretty much everything stayed on the same, except for, like I said, equipment expense costs, we upped them a little bit too because of newer generation trucks.
It's all that depth stuff,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Any questions on that?
Cut and dry.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jason.
Dry for sure.
Parks and Cemetery, Robbie.
I've been saving all the questions for you.
New guy.
So, as far as commodities and everything else go, I don't think there's really much change. I think the one that got changed was possibly last year, just like anything else. The cost for anything, whether it be equipment repairs or, going to the local store, everything's gone up. As far as money goes for setting back for equipment, I guess we'll start at the top on page 14. This was something that Berkeley and I discussed before he retired, and discussed briefly with Matt and Corey as well. I would like to set aside that $8,000 that you see for the rock shelter house improvements. What it's going to be for is for the middle shelter house, we call it, that ancient limestone one. Now, I don't know if that was a WPA project from back in the 30s. So currently, the sewer that feeds that is all gravity-fed clay tile to this lift station over here, and some of that stuff is old, ancient lead piping inside of there, and really it needs a makeover of removing the current sewer that feeds that building, the water lines. There's 2 toilets in each bathroom, and we'd like to go back, if we can, with, with code and standard, go back to just 1 toilet in each bathroom and 1 sink. Really kind of give it a facelift for how many decades to come with removing all that sewer. And by doing so, if we have to, for grade-wise, since the current sewer is gravity, if we have to, and I can work with Mitch Phillips on this, is to install a sump pump basin, like what feeds this building here. And it would be a grinder pump to lift and move it to that lift station over there. So new toilets. We possibly look to do a lot of the work in-house, maybe without having to contract anything at all elsewhere. New water lines, really about everything we could do in-house. So that's that on the improvements for that. And then, of course, we're setting aside more money, I think, from previous year's budget. So I've got 2 mowers that I'll be purchasing next year, and then as well as a 1-ton next year. We have I think it's a 2000 model 1-ton, which of course that was from last year's budget, that we'd like to be replacing next year. And then of course a couple other things for next year's budget, just setting aside money for mowers, and a big line item there for 2025 that's on the back page here is $16,000 for the replacement setback for our John Deere tractor. The current one is, of course, that 2007, and in the future, I've discussed this with Corey, instead of replacing our backhoe completely with another backhoe, it's been brainstormed to replace that with an excavator. Sometimes in the cemetery, I know we have one we've borrowed and stuff, but in the cemetery, here and there, an excavator could be a little bit more handy. Just as far as getting into certain places where we have to, when we get the call to go in the middle of an old block, we don't have a choice. We have to get in there regardless. But we still need something that is capable of moving our shoring around. And right now we use the backhoe to do that because an excavator would just be way too slow to drive that thing up and down the roads all the time to move the shoring that we put in the graves to keep the walls from collapsing. So that was what we had looked at, Berkeley and I discussed before he retired, to move that line item up to get that tractor replaced. Because by replacing that tractor, we're looking, that's a 3 series currently, and we looked at replacing it possibly with a 4 series that can move the shoring around as well as close the grave. Just a thought right now, if there was any change of mind on that, then that would be just that much more money we can put towards the actual replacement of the backhoe that we've been setting back for quite a few years now.
Back on page 14.
Okay.
On Unit 17, on your spreadsheet, it shows that funds requested are $22,000 for 2024. Is that just equipment reserve money you're using? Because there's nothing on my spread, is it? Because I looked at that and I'm thinking, there's nothing in our budget sheets for that expenditure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. I just wanted to make sure I didn't miss it on the sheet.
And on replacing that 1-ton, just like everybody else and all these other departments, I'm going to be doing some more research to see exactly what that's going to cost. I know on electric department, Jim Baker is probably the most recent to have replaced a 1-ton like that with another dump bed. But again, if it's something that if we don't have enough money, then if we need to push it back another year, we push it back another year to finish out the budget. You guys have any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Robbie. Chief?
17 through 29.
For us at the firehouse, still just putting money back on the equipment reserve, trying to get the ladder truck replaced. And then just our air packs will be coming up for expiration here real soon. So then just capital outlay, you just see the only biggest thing there is going to be the bunker gear replacement. I've got 14 sets that need to be replaced. And that's from head to toe for everything. So I'd like to just get it done in one shot, and then we can just start putting money back for the next 10 years and stagger it. So we can start doing that. Pretty much everything else stayed about the same, or pretty close to. The maintenance side on the maintenance side on the vehicle there, I was asking for another 10 on that, just so I can replace the poly plates and everything to get that ladder. I mean, it passed inspection this year, but it can't be certified because the poly plates that the ladder's mechanisms slide on and everything are cracking and breaking away. The truck being in 1997 and haven't been touched since then, so lots of weather checking, and you know how, I guess it's the poly, it will break down and they start breaking over years, so it's time for those to be replaced.
How much do we have in reserves for that truck so far?
So I think we're looking close to, would it be we just started, so I think last year was what, 250, and then this year's 300?
Okay.
I think that's where we was at.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
It's going to be a chunk when we get ready to replace it.
So the last, when I spoke with, as you can see, the projected purchase cost of that ladder truck, right now, to get a 100-foot aerial platform is $2.2 million. Yep. Yeah.
And then that's right now.
And that's
Right,
now.
yeah.
That's
I get it.
now.
I get
And
it.
so the cost has been, every time I talk to one of the reps, whether, for all the fire trucks, they're going up, 5-10%. It's even per quarter that it's going up. So you can see a 30% increase in 1 year on a truck. It's just crazy. And
Well,
then
it's important we leave that as a line item for setting back every year.
and
Yep.
the
You have
lead
to.
times too, the lead times on those trucks,
Years.
you're looking at, I know Pierce was 5 years out.
Yeah.
And I think when I spoke with Spartan, the ones that we got the engine from, they are about 2 to 3 years out. So.
Okay. Thank you.
Put some money back for the ladder truck last year, and
Yes.
that was the first
Yep.
year, John. I think it was
That's I remember that.
That's what I was
I think
thinking.
that's what, so after this year, we'll have, or
Five.
after next year's budget cycle, we'll have a $500,000 set
Okay.
there.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, it hurts. I mean, everything, if it has fire,
Yeah, but
it
that
has an,
thing's-
EMS, it's expensive.
But the current one's old. We've got good use out of it.
Yeah, yeah. So that was one of the maintenance cost difference. And then down at the commodities, you can see in the EMS side. So there was 40,000, budgeted for the year before, and the actual for 2023 came in at almost 70. Well, a lot of that's because of fuel. It hasn't dropped all that much, so we kind of wanted to stay in line with where we're sitting, each year, so it doesn't look like we're always going over in that line item all the time, which, we don't know what fuel's going to do, so it's just in oil, so we don't know what it's going to do. And as much as we're on the road, the oil changes are frequent, and the trips are frequent too, so. Other than that, you have any questions?
Not to do with the budget, but did we get called for mutual aid in Chanute?
We did not.
Did not.
No, I was kind of surprised.
I was too. That was another
Yeah.
big one for them.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was surprised by that, so. Just something to add to, last year you requested all of the breakdowns of some of the big equipment, the vehicles and everything else, just that way everybody knows that that's in there. It shows what years they are and kind of what we're looking at, how much they cost over time. So,
Appreciate that.
Yep.
I like that spreadsheet.
thank you.
Thank you, Corey. Corey, number 2.
Ours starts on page 30 after Chief's narrative stuff. Really nothing in the admin budget. Computers, we always put a little bit back for capital outlay for computer replacement. Usually between the copier and the computers, we put about $3,000 away a year and replace 1 or 2 of them in our office. That also is with the IT personnel as well. He's in our department. And then just putting a little bit back for a vehicle. I know we just got one, but $2,500 every couple of years or every year to kind of build that up when we need to replace it rather than have to come up with $30,000 or $40,000 for that car. Honestly, there's no, I kept everything pretty well flat. There's really nothing in our budget. So, yeah, any questions, guys, concerns?
Sleeping tonight,
It's like crickets in here tonight.
Thanks, Corey.
Yeah.
I probably have the smallest budget of all. We try to keep it as tight as we can. I only have 2 line items that we're raising for next year. Insurance and materials and supplies, cost of everything's going up. And we're setting aside $5,000 a year for a truck down the road. And after the truck they talked about earlier, it looks like we need to move out our replacement year out a couple years on that, because our projected cost was $30,000. Looks like by the time we get around to buying it, might be up around $40,000. So, but nothing really to talk about. We replaced our CPUs last year. Our copier's good. All our equipment's running good. So, nothing really new to report. So, all's good.
All right. Thank you, Greg. Appreciate y'all coming in and going over your budgets with us. And I told the department head 2 weeks ago, and same with you all. Appreciate everything you do. Appreciate your dedication to our city and attention to detail. And this it really helps keep the city running smooth. So thanks to all you do for our city of Iola. Appreciate you all.
Very end, Mayor, I did put the rough timeline of where we're at for approval as well.
Yeah.
Now we've got through those 2 July ones. Our next step will be that at the next meeting, we'll be setting those, the resolution for the R&R and then setting those public hearings. So.
Okay. And those will be set at the next meeting.
Correct. That is if we get the.
Yes, it should be. Shannon, the county clerk, did tell me she is shooting for mailing out the R&R cards, postcards for August 10th. So we sent numbers over. We can always go lower, we just can't go higher. But I know she was having to really get onto some other cities, but she's hoping the 10th she'll be mailing those out.
If else fails, we can push back one meeting. It's not going to hurt our timeline any as far as approval.
Okay. So it would be wise to go ahead and set it, because as you said, we can always go down, but we can't go up if we don't set the hearing. Okay. Does that need to be in the form of a motion?
Oh, we can't.
No, it'll be at our next meeting.
At the next meeting? Okay. All right.
And I'll be honest, I will try to be here for the 26th. With that being the beginning of the second week of school, I don't know event-wise, but I will try to be here.
Any other budget questions? Comments? Doesn't look like it. All right. Council and administrator reports. Josiah.
Do we know when Mammoth will get back to us with their report?
have a meeting this week. We can find out then. I'd imagine it's going to be a matter of weeks, though.
Okay. And then the only other thing I have is more so for the citizens. We had a great turnout. When I say we, I mean just Allen County and the city out at the candidate forum that happened last Thursday. I think the room was pretty much packed at the beginning, and so appreciate seeing all the invested citizens. August 6th is the primary election, and the primary matters just as much as the general. So please do what you can to get out and vote. Advanced voting is already going on. Otherwise, please try to set something up for August 6th to go and vote.
I just didn't know, Corey, Matt, if you had a chance to look at that culvert.
I haven't been up by it yet, but I'm going to grab Jason tomorrow after staff meeting and go look at it, Joel.
Okay.
I think it's probably as simple as putting kind of like a pipe barricade like we do around the gas meters.
I think that would be just fine.
I mean, that'd probably work. So I'll take a look at it tomorrow,
Okay.
though.
Thank you, appreciate it. I don't have anything else.
Thank you.
Mike's been working for the city almost as long as I've been alive. By like 7
goes
months.
with them remarks.
I've been alive longer, I've
you're
been alive
intrigued with
longer than
that
Mike
often,
has worked for
isn't
the college. 7 months. I just noticed that.
Just wait till you get old like some of us. The only thing I have to report is this Friday is Movies on the Square. I think it's Mrs. Doubtfire. I'm not quite sure. Yeah. There'll be free water, popcorn, and glitter tattoos, and whatever else they may conjure up between, and gelato, between now and then. And the movie starts at dusk. That's all I have.
That it? Thank you. John?
I've got nothing.
I have to miss our 12th meeting, August 12th.
Okay.
I'll be traveling for work. That's it.
Ben, you have anything for us?
Oh, I do have one thing. Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
It's always great to see new people getting involved. So thank you for putting your name out there. Sorry I missed last meeting.
John, college students arrive next Monday.
All the students, early students arrive next Monday.
Yeah.
So keep a lookout, especially the international students. They may be looking the wrong direction of the street first to cross. That happens. We'll get used to it. It does happen whenever they're trying to cross the street sometimes. They're not used to it. But keep an eye out for them. If you see some people that look lost around town, let's welcome them friendly and help them find where they're going.
Saying is Walmart's going to be really busy in a couple weeks.
Yes.
Yeah.
In a week.
In a week.
A week, and then in 3 weeks from now, too.
It'll be out of many fridges.
August 16th is the other move-in.
And fans.
Oh, I need to
Could
call
we get one of
Walmart.
those yellow diamond signs for international students? What would that look like? Just to.
Not my office. It's a different office.
Jeez. Corey, you have anything for us?
Nothing tonight, sir.
Nothing? Matt, anything for us? Roxanne?
I will take advantage of it since Robbie's here.
Congratulations.
Made him turn red and it's not a sunburn.
I was going to do it up there.
All right. If nothing more, can we get a
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Wow. Put it in the record like Kim said.